Ladies and gentlemen, hear me clearly, success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. Money does not run after people, it flows toward value. Opportunities don't show up for the unprepared. They reveal themselves to the expectant and the ready. And the good news is this: everything you need to create the life you desire has already been placed inside of you. Success is attracted, not chased, because it is never about the frantic pursuit of external things, but about the internal alignment of who you are becoming. When a person chases success, they are declaring through their actions that it is something outside of them, far away, and separate from their identity. But the reality is, success is the natural consequence of embodying certain principles, thoughts, and behaviors. The more a person grows into the version of themselves capable of handling abundance, the more that abundance shows up without struggle. It is not about running after what you desire, but rather standing in the place of expectancy, knowing that what you desire is already being pulled towards you by the energy you release. When someone chases, they usually act from a place of desperation, and desperation only repels opportunities. People can sense the energy of fear, lack, and neediness, and it creates a wall that blocks the very blessings one is pursuing. Attraction works differently. It doesn't beg, it doesn't plead, it doesn't wear itself out with anxiety. Attraction is confident, grounded, and calm because it understands that like draws to like. If you want to draw success, you have to think success, walk success, speak success, and embody success long before the evidence shows up in your bank account or your career. Chasing is rooted in scarcity. It is a belief that what you want is limited, running away, or that you have to fight against the odds to capture it. Attraction is rooted in abundance. It believes there is more than enough, and that life is designed to deliver provision to those who align with its principles. When you see yourself as someone who deserves the success you desire, when you hold that picture in your mind with conviction, you no longer waste energy running behind opportunities. Instead, opportunities begin to locate you, people begin to notice you, and doors begin to swing open almost effortlessly. Success is attracted because of value. When you become a person of value, people cannot help but be drawn to what you have to offer. Value does not chase, it draws. Think about the most successful companies, leaders, and visionaries. None of them begged the world to recognize them. They cultivated so much value within themselves that the world could not ignore them. When you focus on growth, discipline, skill, and character, you are like a magnet that silently pulls the right people, resources, and circumstances into your orbit. The shift happens the moment you stop asking, how can I get success to come to me? And instead ask, how can I become the kind of person success cannot resist? This shift in identity is what unlocks attraction. Instead of struggling in pursuit, you cultivate an environment within yourself that resonates with achievement. Success has a frequency, and when you align your frequency with it through vision, mindset, and action, it naturally flows in your direction. It is the difference between chasing money and attracting wealth. Those who chase money are always in a cycle of frustration, always feeling like it is slipping away from them. But those who attract wealth operate with stewardship, creativity, and confidence. They understand that money flows to solutions, to discipline, and to vision. By becoming someone who embodies these qualities, they never have to beg for success because it is drawn into their lives as a response to who they are. The law of attraction makes it clear that your inner world shapes your outer world. When you spend time meditating on success, speaking it, and living as if it is already yours, you condition your mind and emotions to align with it. That inner alignment begins to pull circumstances into your life that match your inner picture. People who chase may work harder, but those who attract work smarter because they let their inner posture guide their external results. Chasing often leads to exhaustion, but attraction brings peace. The person who chases success can run for years and never feel fulfilled because they are operating from the idea that success is somewhere else. The person who attracts success is fulfilled even before the full manifestation arrives, because their fulfillment comes from knowing they are already becoming who they were designed to be. This fulfillment is magnetic because it shows up as joy, peace, and confidence, qualities that the world cannot resist. Success does not respond to striving. It responds to alignment. The very moment your thoughts, words, and actions align with your desired outcome, you begin to attract the resources necessary for that outcome. You don't need to beg for a breakthrough when you become the kind of person who naturally produces breakthroughs. Success is not outside waiting to be caught. It is already circling you, waiting for you to align with it so it can land in your life. Attraction is the power of identity. When you know who you are, when you embrace the vision of what you are capable of, you do not chase. You stand, you grow, and you allow. Success finds its way to those who embody it long before it shows up in material form. The real work is not to run harder, but to become greater, because once you become, the attraction is inevitable. Your thoughts shape your reality because every experience you live through is filtered by the lens of your mind. The world you see outside is first created inside, and nothing can manifest externally unless it is first conceived internally. A person who thinks they are limited will always find evidence of limitation, while someone who thinks they are capable will see opportunities where others see walls. The mind is not just a place where ideas pass through. It is a creative workshop where the blueprint of your life is drafted, and the quality of those blueprints determines the life that unfolds. Every belief you carry shapes the actions you take, and those actions create the results you experience. If you constantly feed your mind with thoughts of failure, you unconsciously sabotage yourself, because the mind always seeks to make real whatever it accepts as true. On the other hand, if you choose to think thoughts of possibility, courage, and abundance, you will act with a level of confidence that opens doors. Thoughts are not idle. They are forces that either build your future or break it down. Your reality is not solely determined by circumstances, but by how you perceive those circumstances. Two people can go through the same challenge, yet one grows stronger while the other gives up, and the difference lies in their thinking. One interprets the problem as an obstacle that cannot be overcome, while the other sees it as an opportunity to grow and prove their strength. What you consistently meditate on becomes the meaning you attach to life, and that meaning becomes the framework of your reality. When you think thoughts of lack, you train your mind to see what is missing, and you blind yourself to the resources already within reach. This mental pattern leads you to settle for less than you are capable of achieving. But when you shift to thoughts of abundance, you suddenly notice possibilities that were invisible to you before. The opportunities did not suddenly appear, they were always there. But your thinking either made you blind or made you aware. Reality bends itself around the focus of your thoughts. Your subconscious mind, which drives most of your daily actions, is shaped by the thoughts you repeat with feeling. If you continually tell yourself you are not good enough, your subconscious programs your behavior to match that belief, making you avoid risks, doubt your worth, and retreat from challenges, if you continually affirm that you are capable and worthy, your subconscious aligns your behavior with that truth, leading you to take bold steps, seize chances, and persist until success is achieved. Your reality follows the program you write into your mind. The words you speak are born from the thoughts you dwell on, and those words reinforce the world you experience. When your mind is filled with discouragement, your mouth speaks defeat, and your reality reflects it. But when your mind is filled with faith and expectation, your words carry life, and your environment responds to them. Thoughts and words work together as creative partners, and the reality you live in is simply the harvest of what you have been planting in your inner garden. The quality of your relationships, finances, health, and opportunities is influenced by the thoughts you allow yourself to entertain. Someone who constantly thinks negative thoughts will attract negative people, unhealthy habits, and draining circumstances because reality mirrors the state of the mind. Someone who fills their mind with vision, gratitude, and growth-oriented thinking will attract people who elevate them, habits that strengthen them, and opportunities that expand them. Reality is always echoing the state of your thoughts. When you discipline your thinking, you take control of your future. Most people let their minds run wild, entertaining fears, doubts, and worries, not realizing that every one of those thoughts is shaping tomorrow. But when you deliberately choose to think thoughts that align with where you want to go, you begin to write a new script for your reality. Your mind is like soil, and every thought is a seed. You cannot plant seeds of fear and expect a harvest of courage. You cannot plant seeds of doubt and expect a harvest of success. The harvest always matches the seed. It is not enough to think positively once or twice. Reality is shaped by consistency. A single thought may not change your life, but a repeated thought, believed with emotion, rewires your mind and gradually shifts your entire reality. Just as water shapes stone through persistence, your thoughts shape your reality through repetition. Every day you are either strengthening the mental patterns that hold you back or building the patterns that will propel you forward. The truth is, life will always reflect back to you what you most deeply believe and think about yourself and your possibilities. The outer world is a mirror of the inner world, and the person who masters their thoughts masters their reality. The battle is never truly outside. It is always inside. And the moment you change the way you think, the reality you live in begins to transform accordingly. Words are seeds because every word spoken carries within it the power to create, to shape, and determine outcomes. Just as a seed may appear small and insignificant, yet holds the potential to grow into a towering tree, every word you release may seem ordinary in the moment, but has the power to shape circumstances, relationships, and destinies. Words are never wasted. They either build or destroy. They either plant life or they plant death. And whatever is planted will eventually take root and produce a harvest in due season. When you speak words of doubt, fear, and limitation, you are scattering seeds of weakness into the soil of your own future. These words do not disappear into the air. They embed themselves into your subconscious and influence your actions. Over time, those repeated negative words create an environment where failure feels inevitable. On the other hand, when you choose to speak words of faith, encouragement, and vision, you are planting seeds of hope that grow into confidence, resilience, and victory. The soil for these seeds is both your own mind and the lives of those around you. The words you speak over yourself become the internal dialogue that governs how you see the world, and the words you speak over others can either lift them higher or push them into despair. A careless word can crush someone's spirit, but a word of affirmation can inspire them to rise above their struggles. Every conversation you have is a form of planting, and the kind of harvest you and others will experience depends on the kind of words you continually sow. Consider how repeated words become declarations. When someone constantly says, "I can't," they are planting that seed day after day until it becomes a forest of limitations surrounding them. When someone repeatedly says, "I will," they are watering a seed of determination that eventually breaks through obstacles. Words not only express belief, they reinforce belief, and belief directs action. In this way, every word carries a hidden future within it, waiting for the right conditions to manifest. Your reality is a reflection of the words you have sown in the past. If you look closely at your current circumstances, you can trace them back to the language you consistently used about yourself, your opportunities, and your life. People who constantly spoke of lack often find themselves living in lack, while those who spoke with conviction about abundance, even before it appeared, often find themselves walking in abundance. Words set the stage for the experiences that unfold because they direct the energy and focus of the mind. The danger is that many treat words casually, not realizing they are planting, while they joke, complain, or criticize. Every complaint plants a seed of discontent that multiplies into more reasons to complain. Every word of gratitude plants a seed of appreciation that blossoms into more to be grateful for. The universe responds not to empty wishes, but to spoken declarations filled with emotion, belief, and consistency. The words you habitually release are like rivers shaping the land of your life, carving out valleys, or building up fertile fields. When you understand that words are seeds, you begin to take responsibility for what you say. You guard your tongue because you know it has creative power. You choose your language carefully, not to impress others, but to ensure you are sowing into a harvest worth reaping. Speaking life is not about ignoring reality. It is about planting a reality you desire to grow. Even in the darkest season, you can plant seeds of light with your words, knowing that in time, the harvest will reflect what you spoke when everything around you looked barren. This principle applies not only to personal growth, but also to relationships and communities. A family that constantly speaks words of love and support will see harmony flourish, while one that sows criticism and harshness will see division and resentment grow. A business that cultivates a culture of encouragement through words will thrive with creativity and loyalty, while one that spreads negativity will eventually collapse under its own weight. Words shape atmospheres, and atmospheres determine outcomes. Every great leader, every visionary, every person who achieved extraordinary results understood the power of words. They spoke what they believed before it was visible. They declared possibility when others declared defeat. They knew that speaking vision is the first step to manifesting vision. Their words created momentum, inspired faith, and attracted resources. The world responded not to what they had in the beginning, but to the seeds they planted with their tongue. Your future is hidden in the seeds of the words you speak today. Each sentence carries within it the possibility of life, growth, and transformation, or the possibility of decay, struggle, and limitation. Just as no farmer plants without expecting a harvest, every word you release sets in motion a chain of events that lead to a result. You may not see it immediately, but in due season, the harvest always arrives, and it will always reflect the nature of the seed that was planted with your words. Energy determines attraction because everything in life moves according to vibration, and the frequency you carry sets the tone for what you draw into your experience. The invisible force you radiate communicates louder than your words, and people, opportunities, and circumstances respond to that force. When you walk with confidence, you naturally draw respect and open doors, but when you carry fear or insecurity, you unintentionally repel the very opportunities you desire. The unseen is always creating the seen, and energy is the bridge between your inner world and your outer world. The energy of gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful, while the energy of complaining multiplies dissatisfaction. Life mirrors the emotional state you live in most often, and what you habitually feel sets the pattern for what repeatedly shows up. When your energy is low, drained, or filled with negativity, you notice more problems and challenges. When your energy is high, focused, and positive, you notice possibilities that others overlook. Energy acts like a magnet, and whatever matches your frequency finds its way to you. Every thought you dwell on contributes to the energy you release. A mind saturated with worry will radiate tension, and people around you can feel it even before you say a word. A mind saturated with faith and expectation radiates calm strength, and people respond by trusting and supporting you. Energy cannot be hidden because it leaks out through your body language, tone of voice, and even the atmosphere you create when you enter a room. You do not just communicate with words, you communicate with your vibration, and it sets the stage for attraction. When you choose to operate with the energy of courage, you move differently. You stand taller, you take risks, you speak with conviction, and that confidence attracts favor and opportunity. When you carry the energy of fear, you hesitate, you second guess yourself, and you emit uncertainty, which pushes opportunities away. People are drawn to certainty because certainty feels safe, and energy rooted in faith is always magnetic to others who are looking for direction. Relationships thrive or die based on energy. A person who consistently carries bitterness, jealousy, or anger will repel healthy connections, while a person who carries joy, patience, and understanding will attract loyal and supportive people. The energy you bring into conversations becomes the environment of the relationship. It is not simply about what you say, but about the spirit with which you say it, and that spirit determines whether people want to draw near or distance themselves from you. Even your financial life responds to energy. Those who carry desperation often chase money and drive it away, while those who carry confidence and value attract money toward them. Money flows to people who radiate certainty, solutions, and service, because that energy signals reliability and growth. Desperation signals lack, and lack repels prosperity. The energy you bring to your work, your business, and your vision is constantly shaping the level of resources that come your way. Energy is also contagious. When you consistently radiate positivity, others begin to rise to that level simply by being in your presence. The same is true for negativity. It drags others down and creates a cycle of discouragement. This is why guarding your energy is essential, because what you project doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone connected to you. The more intentional you are about maintaining high energy, the more you create an atmosphere that magnetizes success and multiplies possibility. Your physical body even reflects your energy. A person filled with vibrant, uplifting energy often has a glow about them, while someone filled with stress and negativity wears it on their face and posture. This physical expression becomes part of the signal you send into the world, and it determines how people respond to you. Energy is not abstract. It is visible, tangible, and measurable in the way it shapes your presence and the responses you receive. Every day you are either raising or lowering your energy through the choices you make. The thoughts you entertain, The emotions you dwell on, the people you surround yourself with, and the habits you practice all feed your energy. High energy comes from clarity, discipline, gratitude, and faith. Low energy comes from confusion, inconsistency, resentment, and fear. Whatever energy you feed the most becomes the dominant frequency you broadcast, and that frequency determines what you attract. Life is a reflection of the energy you choose to live in, and the principle is constant. The higher your energy, the higher the opportunities you draw, and the lower your energy, the more struggles you invite. Everything around you is responding not to what you say you want, but to the vibration you actually carry. And the key to attraction is aligning your energy with the reality you claim to desire. Action activates the law because no matter how strong your thoughts, how powerful your words, or how clear your vision, nothing changes until you move. Desire without action is only daydreaming, but when you pair belief with behavior, you create momentum that begins to shift circumstances in your favor. The law of attraction does not reward idle wishing. It responds to faith expressed through action. Faith without works is dead, and so is vision without movement. The moment you step out, you signal to life that you are serious about receiving what you have been imagining. Many people sit and wait for perfect conditions before they act, not realizing that waiting keeps them stuck in the same place. Conditions rarely become perfect, but the act of moving creates the conditions you desire. Action generates clarity because as you move, you discover what works and what does not. Without action, you are left with theory and imagination, but with action, you step into experience and transformation. Nothing is more powerful than combining belief in your mind with steps that prove that belief in reality. When you act, you create ripples. Even small actions begin to attract opportunities and people you could not see from a place of inaction. The energy of motion draws attention, resources, and momentum because action is evidence of conviction. A person who says they want success but refuses to act is sending out the signal of hesitation, but a person who acts boldly, even in uncertainty, is sending out the signal of faith. Life always responds to faith expressed through movement. Action activates the law by bridging the gap between the invisible and the visible. Thoughts are powerful, but without action, they remain trapped in the realm of possibility. Words carry energy, but without action, they lack proof. The act of moving, building, trying, and pursuing converts the invisible vision into tangible reality. Action is the proof of intention, and proof is what pulls your desires from imagination into manifestation. Every dream requires steps, and each step builds momentum. A person who takes consistent, disciplined action aligns themselves with the rhythm of success. In contrast, someone who waits, hesitates, and procrastinates drifts further away from what they desire. Action has a multiplying effect. Each step reveals the next. Each risk uncovers a new door, and each attempt builds confidence. The more you act, the more aligned you become with the very thing you are seeking to attract. Action also refines belief. When you step out, you gain feedback from reality, and that feedback strengthens your vision. Even when you fail, the act of failing forward sharpens your understanding, builds resilience, and positions you closer to your breakthrough. Inaction robs you of these lessons, but action transforms every experience into a stepping stone. The law of attraction responds not to perfection, but to progress, and progress only comes through movement. When you act, you demonstrate that you are ready to receive. Words and thoughts alone may say you believe, but action proves belief. You cannot expect abundance while behaving like someone who doubts their worth. You cannot expect success while avoiding the steps that success demands. Action aligns your behavior with your desires. And when alignment is complete, results begin to manifest almost effortlessly. Those who act consistently often surpass those who think endlessly. Thinking is important, planning is necessary, but without execution, plans are just paper and thoughts are just noise. The world does not reward intentions. It rewards results, and results only come to those who step into the arena. Action separates the dreamers from the doers, and only the doers experience the full power of attraction working in their favor. Action is also a signal to your subconscious mind. When you act, you reprogram yourself to believe that your vision is not just possible, but real. Each step taken reinforces your identity as someone capable of achieving, and that identity strengthens the magnetism you carry. The subconscious mind responds to proof, and action provides that proof, turning your inner doubts into inner certainty. No matter how much knowledge you acquire, how many affirmations you repeat, or how vivid your visualizations become, the law remains dormant without movement. Action breathes life into the principles of attraction and sets them into motion. The combination of vision, belief, and consistent steps creates an unstoppable force, and it is that force that brings opportunities, people, and resources into alignment with your goals. Become what you seek, because the truth is you cannot attract what you are unwilling to embody. The life you desire will always demand a version of you that can sustain it, and until you rise into that version, the results you want will remain just out of reach. You cannot expect wealth while thinking in poverty. You cannot expect love while carrying bitterness. And you cannot expect opportunity while clinging to fear. To receive the reality you long for, you must first become the person who naturally lives in that reality. When you seek success, the path is not about chasing external rewards, but transforming yourself internally to align with those rewards. Success is not given to people who are not prepared to carry it. A person who wins money without becoming financially disciplined will lose it, but someone who builds discipline before wealth arrives will multiply it. Becoming is more important than receiving, because becoming ensures that when the blessing arrives, it stays. The world does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. You can want health, but if you live with habits that destroy your body, your desire contradicts your identity. You can want respect, but if you speak and act in ways that diminish your value, your energy will not attract honor. Life mirrors the person you choose to become. The outer world bends itself to the inner world, and until you transform within, you cannot experience true transformation without. Becoming what you seek requires honesty. You must look at where your current identity does not match your desired destiny. If you want to lead, you must ask yourself if you are living with the discipline, vision, and example of a leader. If you want abundance, you must ask if you are walking with gratitude, stewardship, and generosity. Becoming is not about pretending. It is about aligning your character, mindset, and habits with the very thing you claim to desire. This principle is why so many remain stuck. They are asking life to give them results they have not yet grown into. They ask for opportunities, but have not cultivated the discipline to seize them. They ask for relationships, but have not healed from the pain that would sabotage them. They ask for success, but continue to nurture habits of procrastination and excuses. Until the identity matches the request cannot fully manifest. The journey of becoming is not instantaneous, it is a process. Each decision you make is either moving you closer to the identity you seek or keeping you bound to the one you want to leave behind. Becoming requires daily choices, repeated disciplines, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves your future. It is not about waiting for the right circumstances, but about shaping yourself into the kind of person for whom those circumstances naturally appear. When you begin to embody what you seek, you feel a shift. The things you once chased start coming toward you because your energy, your actions, and your presence are aligned with them. Confidence begins to replace insecurity, vision begins to replace doubt, and action begins to replace hesitation. People notice the shift in you long before the results show up, and they respond to the identity you now carry. You stop asking for permission because your life itself begins to demonstrate readiness. Becoming what you seek means living as though you already have it, not in arrogance, but in alignment. If you want wealth, manage the resources you have with wisdom as though you are already wealthy. If you want success, carry yourself with the discipline and excellence of someone who has already achieved it. If you want love, treat yourself and others with kindness and respect as though love is already surrounding you. In doing so, you prepare the soil of your life for the harvest you are expecting. Every desire carries a demand, and that demand is for you to rise into a greater version of yourself. The life you long for is not beyond your reach. It is waiting for you to become the person who can hold it. Each step of growth is another layer of becoming, and with every layer, the gap between where you are and what you seek closes. Becoming is the price, and once it is paid, the reward cannot be denied. When you finally commit to becoming, you release the struggle of chasing. You stop asking when your breakthrough will come because you understand that your breakthrough is connected to your growth. The moment you match the identity of what you seek, it begins to move toward you. The greatest secret is not in trying to manipulate external results, but in transforming the internal self until the external has no choice but to reflect it.